Welcome, true believers. It is I, Shane. I'm here to give you another Loki Season 2 episode review. Today's episode is episode 5, entitled Science slash Fiction. And before I go any further, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of more videos like this. I know I'm behind. This should be out Sunday. Today should be Sunday. I'm going to probably at the time that you watch this, I probably have already watched episode 6. I'm just trying to get these done. Usually I have these done, like the Marvel shows, done before like the new movies. Granted, Secret Invasion didn't have a movie around it, although the Marvels, I believe, was supposed to premiere that same week that it ended. Would have made sense-ish, but yeah, I'm on episode 5. And I love how Loki, the only Disney Plus MCU show to get a second season, how each episode from each season lines up so well in a parallel. Like, remember, episode 4 of season 1 was crazy with all of the things that got found out. You didn't know what was going to happen next. The timekeepers were fake. And episode 4 of this season was, oh shit, everything is gone. What are we going to do? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to count on Loki, because apparently Loki is again time slipping, or body sliding, as I like to call it, from, Cable. And he is again time slipping within the TVA. He even does a little loop where he sees himself grab the manual. Hello? Hello? It's a perpetual loop. It's the Ouroboros. And he is somehow able to get out of the TVA as it begins to spaghetti fire, because it has enacted, pardon me, the TVA has enacted the failsafe plan, which I wrote down a number for this. Failsafe plan is code 1229. The voice is still Tara Strong of Miss Minutes, but less howdy y'all and more Tara Strong E. And I'm gonna assume that this failsafe just puts everybody back where they came from, in relative to where they are, right? And of course, Loki didn't know everybody from the TVA, but it does end up setting out to find his friends, because he believes with them he can go and they can fix and save the TVA. I really like this episode because the title fits like what was explained in here. Initially, Obi says, science is the what and the how. That's true. And fiction is the why. So in fiction, okay, this man can run faster than a speeding bullet. Well, why? Because of XYZ. And that's all you need. You don't need the science. You just need a why. But at the end of this episode, Loki says, in order figuring out his powers, because Obi was the one that said the key to you fixing all this is controlling your time slipping. And so, pardon me, Loki says it's not the what, how, or even the why, it's the who. And the who is, Loki focusing on his friends, focusing on the people who he cares about. It's very touching moments. It's actually, I'm going to go through, what's this? Casey, B15, Mobius, OB, and Sylvie. I'm going to go through all where they at and what's going on, right? Let's do that. This review might be a little bit shorter, because I'm pretty sure most of you have seen this already, but you're just waiting to hear my 2 cents. So let's talk about this. We do start off with like Casey. Apparently, Casey's name in this branch timeline was Frank. Frank was escaping Alcatraz with 2 other buddies in June 11th, 1962. It's just like when Loki had escaped when he was JB, was it Dillinger? The guy who took the ransom money and then jumped out the plane. This is that infamous story of how 3 people escaped Alcatraz, made it to the shore, but they mysteriously disappeared. Has to do with Loki. At least I'm assuming that Loki only took Casey. I have no clue what he would do with the other 2. So Casey's fighting for his freedom. He is pretty sure he went to jail for theft, maybe even grand theft, because he's stealing parts. And Obi's, I'm not gonna lie, the place where Obi looks like a proto version of his entire workshop that was in the TVA. It is a 1-to-1. It is crazy. I appreciate how they used the space that they had. I know that's what that was. Also, it was very clever how it was written into the episode and into the series. Yeah, dude's a klepto. He wants to use the um proto tempad to go into a bank and steal stuff, and it's just, even Loki doesn't care about him stealing. He's just like, don't steal important stuff that we need. We have B-15. Don't know her real name. She was a doctor. I can't figure out if she was just, a ER doctor or trauma doctor, or she was an actual pediatrician, because we see her putting a cast on a young lady who was climbing a tree and fell out and broke it. Black young lady with her mom. Very touching moment for us to see. This is how B-15's a doctor. I would have never expected that for her. Especially when Sylvie looked at her mind, she was at dinner with somebody. So I never would have guessed it. I kind of like that. This is part of the thing I like. I like that we can't tell based on their TVA personalities who they would have been, or who would they have been in their timeline. I'm going to talk about Mobius next, because OB, he's a little bit more important. I already touched on him, but let's talk about Mobius. Mobius was Don, a jet ski salesman. Also sells ATVs, but he has two young boys, Kevin and Sean. It is heavily implied that his wife has died. I don't think she left him. I think she died. And the timeline for B-15 is 2012, so the Avengers stuff probably just happened then. And for Mobius, it's 2022. And we get Loki coming in, then Loki being ripped out, and then coming back to his place, and you just see he's a single dad. He's a single father trying to make it work, willing to sell the jet skis that him and his wife had because he doesn't have a partner anymore. And it's interesting how Loki is able to convince him, because it seems like Mobius wants a bigger purpose. And before Mobius knew who he was, he's like, TVA is all he ever knew, and it gave him purpose. You can just feel it. He even says that his time travel name being Mobius is pretty cool. And then we have OB, who I think his name there was AD Lang. I know the AD part. I don't remember the last name, but he is a physicist who actually has a passion for writing. So he writes science fiction. And I think he wrote the Zordak continuum, something like that, right? And he's only gonna go to school so he can finish a degree in astrophysics, to be astrophysicist, so he can work his way into just writing full time, which is, it's kind of what most of us do. You work a job you don't like so you can fund and fuel the thing that's your actual passion. And yeah, Obi is still brilliant. Loki, thank goodness he took that book. It's very reminiscent of how Renslayer and Minutes gave a TV handbook to Victor Mancha, different character, to Victor Timely, because homeboy Obi says, for me to just make one from scratch, it might take years. Well, it took 19 months. In between him working on Tempad, his wife left him, so he took a month off so he could get himself together. But looks like he made it out of an Atari and a bunch of other parts, but again, he's still brilliant. I love that he instantly, when Loki says, you gotta believe me, he's like, yeah, I believe you. You're like one of my characters. You're like my character from this book here. I believe in all the science fiction stuff. He even tries to do tests to figure out what gets Loki to time slip. It's not shocking. It's not quick stimuli, and it's not fight or flight, which is funny because Loki wants to focus on the facts, and Obi's like, if you're able, And this I love this type of conversation. He says, so you're able to travel in time in a place that has no time. And he's like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that, which means you should be able to get back there. There's no reason why you can't, because if you think the place is not there, but it probably is because you were able to go back and forth in time at this place. I love the reasoning. The reasoning can be slightly confusing. It's like, and you did an impossible thing at an impossible place, which means the thing that you want to do that seems impossible, you probably can do it because you did the impossible already. That sums up Obi Ouroboros just in a nutshell. I really greatly enjoyed the dialogue between him and Loki. I know I wish Kwan had been like a more famous character from the comics. Him playing Obi though, that this show wouldn't, which is kind of literally, this show couldn't move forward without him playing that character. He does a wonderful job. I'm trying to think. The last but not least, but damn near least, Sylvie. And when Loki's like, you gotta believe me, she's like, yeah, no, I know. I know everybody was reset to their main timelines. And this is where my frustration with Sylvie comes in because she says she takes Loki out for a drink. And Loki's like, well, you're being selfish because she doesn't want to go back. And her whole deal is, well, maybe TVA should stay smashed. All these people were stolen, weren't given a choice and went back. And Loki's saying, well, no. What we'll do is we'll give them a choice because I'm pretty sure some of them would want to stay at the TVA. And Sylvie's just pushing the whole rip people from their lives. What is it that you want? Loki's like, save the TVA. And after asking him several times, he just doesn't want to be alone. He has friends now, and he doesn't want that. And, her words really stagnate all of this because Loki goes back and tells him, you all should just go home. It doesn't matter. When in fact, it still does matter because you're still having everything is starting to spaghettify, and it starts in Sylvie's 1983, 85 McDonald's. Like her food spaghettified out of there. The record shop owner that she knows, who he gave her something to listen to, which is funny because the song that was playing in that record shop, I gotta remember it. Hold on. It's a really good song. Well, I find it's a really good song, but it's also a classic song. You Abandoned Me, Love Don't Live Here Anymore. Classic R&B song, and I think it's very funny that plays when she goes in because technically you did abandon him. And that's the one thing that bothers me because I would have figured since last episode where she said, damn, everything's crumbling down, we need to save this place so that we can save the things that are important to her. She wants a life, everybody else wants a life, so we should do it. And just for her to go, oh well, we shouldn't have to save it, because the one thing Loki's focusing on is the variants of He Who Remains, the Kang variants. But here's the thing, the Kang variants won't matter if everything becomes spaghettified. We see a dude spaghettify as she reaches for him. She still has that Tempad, that He Who Remains Tempad she uses to escape, but she spaghettified, Obi did, Casey did, right before he even realized, he didn't even know what was going on. Mobius wants to save his sons and he spaghettifies B-15. He's like, wait, so it's, it's frustrating. Because if I remember correctly, I gave her so much kudos from last episode, from leveling up and getting past all the traumas and stuff, like not killing Victor Timely. And that was episode 3. Might have been episode 3, episode 4. I don't remember, but not killing him, moving forward and trying to help everybody else, helping a place. Well, while it's easier to make it burn, it's a lot harder to stay and fix things. And I thought we had finally gotten to that point. And maybe in the real world situation, maybe a person wouldn't. But the threat of everything turning into nothing was always still there. So it was kind of weird that they both kind of forgot that. um, where am I at now? Easter egg, Zynac arcade game with Brad Wolf's name. Brad Wolf's voice coming out of it. This little Easter egg right there for you. But Loki can control the time slipping now. Uh, the fact that he did it, and it looked like he was trying to pull the strings and throw them like back together, but he time slipped right before Sylvie had spaghettified. Then he did it again right when she came in. He tells Obi, "I did it. I can control it." Which was the speech I told you before. It's not about the why or the how and the what. It is the who. And we see him go all the way back. I enjoyed this episode. I heard some people call this episode filler because it had the emotional stuff in it. I mean, this was needed because after that last episode, when you're like, well, how is this going to fix anything? Okay, we see that Loki has finally learned to control time travel. He can time travel now because of his place within the time stream. I think that's very, very cool. Yeah, just a lot. I already mentioned the touching moments, but I really enjoyed this episode. I like his upgrade, and just watch the Marvels review, but people get upgrades in there too, and I like that this is. It feels like a 2-season story that's just finally culminated into Loki. Seems he's gonna do what he needs to do. He's gonna step up. Even when he grew up in season 1 trying to change, Loki has actually changed, and I really like this. This episode makes me like this character. Like, I've never hated Loki. I kind of hated his fan base because they're annoying, but never hated the character. This pushes me towards, man, this is a really good character. This series actually might be the best MCU Disney Plus show. I'm just saying, if you make Moon Knight, unless you're saving Moon Knight for Daredevil, but if you make Moon Knight season 2, because we need to figure out what happened with that guy, let's make it good like this. It could give it a run for its money. This is easily one of the best things that's come out of Phase 5, period. I'm actually really, really, really looking forward to watching this final episode. Loki, he even says, I can rewrite the story. All right, well, you got the cheat button, so you're going to go back and fix everything. Go back and fix it, buddy. I believe in you. And I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but people are overzealous with the pictures they put for thumbnails. I only use thumbnails that the official accounts put out. So, yeah. I'm doing my best, though. I'm doing my best to avoid all this. Yeah, there's really nothing else. There's really nothing else for me to add. Great episode. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 because so much emotional weight here. You get payoffs. You see who these characters were, which I guess if we would have ended this series and never saw who they used to be, that would have been kind of, it would have felt cheap. It would have felt like you were missing out on something. I'm sure fanfic writers would have had a field day with figuring things out, but I'm glad we got some kind of closer with figuring out what was going on with these characters. But please let me know what you thought of episode 5. I'm getting to 6. You'll see my review for 6 soon. I realize I shouldn't have said that out loud because every time I say that, things I plan get pushed back. Well, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more reviews just like this. The Marvels review is up. You just click the link for it. Nope, not gonna be there. It's gonna be right there. The link, the little thing right here, the doodly-doo. Click on that. It'll take you right there. Please be good, be blessed. Wash your hands. All right. Drink some water. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Either way it goes. Please don't be a jerk. All right. We got too many jerks in the world. But remember that you're not a jerk. All right. If you're feeling bad, down and out, you need to reach out to somebody. Please do. There are people out there that would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. So please, you are important. You are cared for. You are loved. My social media is in the description down below. Please give me a follow. Send me a message. Say hi. I will get back to you. As long as you're not a jerk and you give me some time to click that request, I'll get right to you. All right, guys. Until next time, true believers. Man, I can't believe after I do this Loki one, wait until I gotta wait until July for anything else Marvel. Be a good little break. I'll see you next time. Excelsior.